Hello and welcome to this series of videos for Universal Plant Viewer. This video is about creating reports within the Universal Plant Viewer. So first of all, the reporting function only applies to all the visible objects. So let's say I want to do a report on plant A, not on plant B. Therefore I will hide plant B from my viewer and only have plant A visible. If you now want to create a report on all those parts, you can go to the File menu, which is the last one, and press the Create a Report button. And as soon as you click on this button, it will ask you for the attributes you want to report on. In my case, I will, of course, add the task as the first attribute. Maybe I also want to have the color of the object, because I could also have done some recoloring here, and I want to re-identify my objects inside the report. And I will add a count, because the report is grouped by the attribute selected. It could be that one row of the report is not meant to be a single object. This is why we added this count attribute, which directly shows you how many objects have the same attributes as in this row. So let's select some more values here. I want to have the tray weight. I want to have the item name, of course. I maybe want to have the NPD for piping elements, the pipeline, the pipe run, and for equipments we of course need to have the equipment name, the equipment type, and maybe we also want to have the shortcode for the piping elements. If I press now OK, Universal Plant Viewer will ask me where to store the report. I will place it on my D drive, call it just report, and press the Save button. It will now create the report, and this file will be created on my D drive. So therefore I will open this report now. And as you can see, we have a report with all the selected attributes. The first one is the task, which was added here. The second one is the color, which shows the object color. The third one is the count. And here we have a very good example for why the count feature is very important. In this row, there were 89 elements which have the same attributes, because all the attributes are empty. That's the reason why. And we can see the dry weight with the unit, we can see the item name, we can see the shortcode, and we can see NPD, pipeline, pipe run, equipment name, and so on. So let's say we want to do a report on piping only. Therefore I will change the structure of my tree by going to the tree configuration. I will add the task attribute at the top of the tree, and I select any attribute, and now any object, sorry, and now I can deselect anything else than piping. Now we only have the piping of plant A visible here at the moment. So let's say we also want to recolor some line. Let's recolor this line here in this color, maybe this isolated line here. Let's select the whole line using the navigation. This will be orange, and maybe this pipeline over here should be yellow. If I go now back to the File menu, select Create Report again, it will remember the attributes I used earlier. But now we are doing a report on piping only, so I can remove all the equipment attributes. And now I can press OK, and it will create me another report, call it piping report. And if I open this report now, we can see only piping elements. Of course, you can also use the Excel filter function to filter those values here. And now you could, for example, filter by color. But I will just scroll through the report to show you. Here's one part of the pipeline we selected, so it's FFOOFF. Okay, let's filter by this one. And now we have all the parts of this pipeline in one report here. So in my case, this count column now shows always the value 1 because the attributes are pretty filled. So, but it could happen, let's say, if the attributes are not filled correctly, that you have here's one example, that you have multiple objects in one row. So here we can see the count is 2 now. So this means there are 2 objects which have the task piping, this color, this weight, this name, this shortcode, this NPD, and so on. So the count feature can be very useful here, but on the other hand, you could also add the OID or the UID to the report, so you can always be sure that the element is unique. So that's it about creating reports from within the Universal Plant Viewer. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.